Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today I'm going to be ranking every single Imani Tech vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online from worst to best. Now there are some really good Imani Tech cars in GTA Online, however there are some really bad ones and some really disappointing ones. This list is going to be based on the overall performance, the value you are getting for your money, whether or not they have armor plating, and whether or not they are a good vehicle, and what do they do for the category that they are placed in. Anyway guys, let's go ahead and get started with the video, but before we do, if you enjoy, a like is of course appreciated. Let's shoot for 10,000 likes on this video. I feel like this is going to be a banger. I'm really excited to do this. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new as well and you enjoyed this style of content. I'm going for 300,000 subscribers this year. And one more thing before we get into the video, please remember that whatever I say in this video is the absolute truth and nothing but the truth, and if you disagree, you are wrong. If you can accept these terms and conditions, let's go ahead and get started with number 20. At number 20, we have the brand new Bloons and Visage, coming in at $2,472,000. What a shame this car is. This thing is armorless and it has pretty bad performance and it is super overpriced for what you're getting. I'm truly very disappointed in this car. It could have been so awesome, but it's just simply way too much money for what you are getting in return. The customization is so cool, it looks awesome, it's fully electric, but unfortunately the performance just completely sucks. The launch is terrible, the acceleration's terrible, especially for an EV. The top speed also sucks, and the handling is garbage. The Bloons and Visage definitely is deserving of the worst Imani Tech vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online title. Let's move on to number 19. At 19, we have the MADISON Monstrosity, coming in at $1,485,000. The reason this thing is here is because it is armorless. However, it is an absolutely awesome little unit. I actually love the MADISON Monstrosity, and some of the most fun I've ever had driving in a manhunt was in the MADISON Monstrosity manhunt. This thing can climb like crazy, it turns on a dime, which is great for ankle braking, and it has some really awesome customization. Sadly, it just isn't very great as an Imani Tech vehicle. It does have that missile lock-on jammer, but beyond that, it has nothing in the way of protection. It's truly such a shame, but it is still really cool, so don't get me wrong. At number 18, we have the Gallivanter Baller STD, coming in at $1,715,000. Yet again, it's armorless, but it is really goddamn fast for an SUV. Looks really awesome, the customization is great, and it does have pretty insane performance overall, especially for an SUV. A really cool vehicle, it just really needed that armor plating upgrade to make it into something that was a little bit more viable for more players in GTA Online. I still think it's a cool vehicle, I still condone buying it, I think it's awesome, but it's just not that good as an Imani Tech vehicle. At number 17, we have the Grotti Turismo Omaggio, coming in at $2,845,000. Yet again, we have another armorless vehicle. However, it is very fast and it is a supercar, and it does have some really great customization and it looks awesome. However, it isn't the best supercar, but it does have exceptional handling, I must give it that. Just doesn't do enough to rank any higher on this list, in my opinion at least. At number 16, we have the Pinard Le Carousse, coming in at $1,990,000. This thing is armorless, but it is still very fast and unique, and it does also have an HSW upgrade. And if you do that HSW upgrade, this thing actually becomes the #1 fastest sports car in Grand Theft Auto Online. However, as an Imani Tech car, it's still not very good because it does not have the armor plating, so it still dies super fast, which is really unfortunate. The Pinard is such a cool vehicle, it looks awesome. It's based off of the Renault 5 Turbo, I do believe, the rally car, but an electric modern day version of it. Such a cool car, it had so much potential, but unfortunately, I just don't think it's that great in terms of Imani Tech capabilities. At number 15, we have the first vehicle that actually does have armor plating, and it is the Mammoth Patriot Mil-Spec, coming in at $1,282,500 with the trade price. However, if you don't have the trade price, it's going to cost you $1,710,000. This thing is so unbelievably shitty at doing the one thing that it should be good at, which is off-roading. It's also way too light, so you just get knocked around super easily, and it's very, very extremely top-heavy, like Humvees in real life, I must say, but the performance generally completely sucks on this thing. The best thing about it by far is the looks and the customization. It is truly such a waste of potential. It's very disappointing, and I'd love to see it get an update in the future because this thing deserves better. It is such a cool vehicle. I think it looks so awesome, but it's just not that good of a vehicle. And I know some people are going to be really upset by me ranking it here, but it's just the truth, unfortunately. At number 14, we have the Declassy Granger 3600 LX coming in at $1,500,000 to $2 million. This thing was previously just over $1 million and $1.5 million without the trade price. However, ROCKSTAR for some reason decided to increase the price of this vehicle, which doesn't really make any sense to me because it always wasn't that good, but ROCKSTAR randomly decided to increase the price by $500,000 for both prices. Doesn't make any sense to me, but hey, it's their decision. The other thing that kind of sucks about the Granger 3600, other than the price increase, is the fact that it's literally slower than the 3500 XL that came out in 2013. That's right, the Granger that you see NPCs driving around on the streets of GTA 5 that goes for 35 grand is actually faster than its $1.5 million cousin that's a lot newer. It doesn't make any sense to me. I will say the Granger 3600 does look a lot better, and it has a ton of customization as well, which is really cool, but unfortunately it's just really disappointing, to be honest. At number 13, we have a relatively new vehicle, the Vapid Illusion, coming in at $1,835,000. This thing is just simply too tall and easy to flip over. It's quick enough on-road, but not good enough off-road for an all-wheel drive car of its caliber, plus it can only take about 4 RPGs, which is not that great, especially in comparison to some of the electric vehicles that are going to be on this list a little bit ahead. Overall, I just feel like this vehicle was disappointing, and then they also had the broken headlight glass on it for 6 months until the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC just came out, where they finally fixed it. Overall, I don't think it's that great looking either, and the customization was a little bit weak as well, so I think it's deserving of number 13, in my opinion at least. But of course, let's not forget, I'm right, and if you disagree, you're wrong. At number 12, we have the EST Deity coming in at $1,383,750 with the trade price. However, if you have no trade price unlocked, it's going to run you $1,845,000. However, this thing does have front-mounted machine guns, and it is a first-gen Imani Tech car. It is a little bit expensive, and the performance is kind of weak, especially the launch off the line, but because of those MGs and also the bullet-resistant windows that can take about 15 shots from an assault rifle, I think it's deserving of the 12th spot on this list. Overall, I think it's a pretty cool vehicle. The customization is also great, and I think it's actually really, really good looking as well. Anyways, that's it for number 12. On to number 11. At number 11, we have the Bravado Greenwood coming in at $1,098,750 to $1,465,000, and I believe that does make it the cheapest Imani Tech vehicle in the entire game. And that gets it pretty far on this list because it is good and it is very cheap for what it accomplishes. The Greenwood is within the muscle car category, so it also gets a wheelie, which is pretty cool. The customization is nice, and it does have armor plating. Overall, it's a really good vehicle, and if you can get it for just under $1.1 million, you are laughing with this thing because it is definitely way faster than the Granger 3600 LX and better looking potentially, and it does basically the same job just without machine guns. Overall, a really, really good vehicle. Definitely one to look into if you are balling on a budget. At number 10, we have the Anis 300R coming in at $2,075,000. This thing has pretty decent performance. It is within the sports category, plus it also has armor plating, and I think it's a great looking vehicle. It does also get the oil slick proximity mine dropper like many of the other vehicles we've already gone over, but I thought that was something to highlight with this vehicle. It's got a ton of customization. The performance is kind of decent for the sports category. I think it looks good, and overall I think the value for the money is there with the Anis 300R. However, at number 9, we have a vehicle that I don't think the value makes any sort of sense at all. This is the Dubachi Champion, and it goes for an increased price to $2.8 million if you have the trade price, and if you don't, it's going to run you $3,750,000. This thing is so unbelievably expensive, and Rockstar increased the price on this thing when it was already expensive before, but now it's 750 grand more than it was. It doesn't make any sense. The Dubachi Champion is a supercar with Imani Tech, and it does have those front-mounted machine guns as well as those bullet-resistant windows, but beyond that, it doesn't make any sense why this thing is so expensive, especially when you consider the fact that as a supercar, it's not even very good. Half of the sports category would beat this thing around a circuit, which is crazy to me. I don't really know what Rockstar was doing with the Dubachi Champion. I'm letting it slide at number 9. It could very easily be number 12 probably, realistically, but it is a very cool looking car, and I know a lot of people really like it. I kind of like it too, but the price is just egregious on this thing, and Rockstar needs to drop that back down. So Rockstar, if you're watching this, lower the price on the Champion to lower than what it was when it first came out, by the way, because that was too expensive as well. At number 8, we have the Enos Paragon S, brand new from the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC, coming in at $2,010,000, which, all things considered, is a pretty fair price. This thing's really good, it has all-wheel drive, and I'm quite impressed with it. However, the only thing that I'm not impressed with is the customization issues that it has. It's missing some exhaust tips on some of the exhaust options, and the mirrors on the secondary option don't get changed on the passenger side. It is still the primary color, which seems really odd to me and very lazy. But regardless of that, it does have really good performance. It also has armor plating. Unfortunately, no bullet resistant windows, but the performance makes up for that in my opinion, because this thing is super quick. I'm a pretty big fan of the Paragon S. I think they did a really good job on it, other than that customization stuff that we just touched on. Overall, a really good vehicle. Definitely one to look into. At number 7, we have the Canis Terminus, coming in at $1,877,500. This thing is insanely good off-road. It has great performance in general, plus it does have an armor plating upgrade. It looks awesome, it feels awesome to drive, it is insane at everything, particularly anything to do with off-roading, and it does also have tons of customization. The Canis Terminus is an awesome car. I actually really hate Jeeps in real life, but the Canis Terminus is a vehicle that I am definitely a fan of in GTA, and it actually made me have a little bit more respect for Jeeps in real life, as odd as that is. Overall, it's a very good vehicle, and it is definitely one that I would look into in GTA Online for sure. At number 6, we have the Obey Omni EGT, coming in at $1,795,000. This is an electric Imani Tech vehicle, so it does have lots of armor, being able to take 12 RPGs or 12 homing missiles, which is crazy armor. It also has really good acceleration, up to a very weak top speed of I think 111 miles per hour, which is pretty trash. However, for an EV, the handling is pretty okay, and it does have an active rear spoiler as well as some pretty cool customization options. And formerly, this thing could take 20 RPGs or 20 homing missiles, which was absolutely crazy until they patched it, but still 12 and 12 is not too bad. Overall, it's a very good vehicle. I think it looks awesome. Definitely one that I would recommend looking into, especially at a price of less than $1.8 million. I think this thing is kind of a steal. At number 5, we have the Enos Jubilee, coming in at $1,237,500 if you have the trade price. However, if you do not, it's going to cost you $1,650,000, which is also honestly a pretty fair price. This is an awesome first generation Imani Tech car, meaning that it does have those front mounted MGs as well as the bullet resistant windows, the oil slick proximity mine dropper, and of course the Imani Tech. It also has really solid performance for the SUV category. I would say it's probably within the top 5 or 6 in terms of SUV racing on circuits, which is pretty crazy. Also, the MGs are at a really good height to shoot people ahead of you, and overall I think it's a really good looking vehicle, and the customization for it is pretty impressive too. Overall, the Enos Jubilee is definitely deserving of being the 5th best Imani Tech vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online. At number 4, we have the Bravado Buffalo EVX, coming in at $2,140,000. This thing again is an electric Imani Tech vehicle, meaning that it can take 12 RPGs or 12 homing missiles. It does have a lot of armor obviously, and it does have armor plating. It also has really good acceleration, and it's also in the muscle car category, so it does get a wheelie. It's the first electric muscle car in Grand Theft Auto Online. And because it's in the muscle category, it also gets a pretty good top speed, and it does smoke a lot of muscle cars on the drag strip, which is pretty cool. The handling is also pretty good, and it is all-wheel drive, which is kind of different for the muscle category. It's also got some decent customization. Overall, I'm not a really big fan of these EV muscle cars, but it is pretty hard to deny that this thing is really good. At number 3, we have the Bravado Buffalo STX. I'm sure you guys were expecting to see it pretty high on the list, and it has made it to a podium position. Coming in at $1,612,500 if you got the trade price. If not, it's going to cost you $2,150,000. Truly, this is my favorite Imani Tech car that has ever come out to date. It has great performance in the muscle category. In fact, it is one of the very best muscle cars for circuit racing too. You could even argue that it is still the best to this day, which is pretty crazy. At least on platforms that don't have HSW, this thing really does perform. It's also a 4-seater. It has those front-mounted machine guns. It's also got the bullet-resistant windows and the proxy mods. And of course, the best thing about it is all the customization that it gets, other than obviously all the Imani Tech features. It's a really good vehicle, really cool looking. I absolutely love the STX. It definitely deserves to be this high on the list. At number 2, we have the Grotti Italy GTO Stinger TT, coming in at $2,380,000 for everyone on every platform. However, if you do have HSW available on your platform, you can upgrade it to an HSW variant for $1,418,000. This thing has HSW plus Imani Tech, which is pretty rare to have, meaning it's insanely fast and very well armored because it does of course have the armor plating upgrade. It has the highest top speed out of any car in Grand Theft Auto Online, topping out at about 168 miles per hour, which is pretty crazy with that HSW upgrade. Without HSW, it still tops out at about 133, which is still pretty high. Unfortunately, the handling is kind of trash, but you can kind of look past it for everything else the car is capable of doing for you. It is a really cool vehicle. It has some decent customization. Not my favorite looking Imani Tech vehicle ever, but it's really hard to deny that this thing belongs at the very tippity top of a list like this. And of course, at number 1, you knew it was coming, the Ocelot Virtue. $2,235,000 if you got the trade price. Other than that, it's going to cost you $2,980,000 if you don't have the trade price. Or of course, you can just get it for free by completing the first and last dose missions from the Los Santos Drug Wars DLC. This is a free, almost $3 million supercar in GTA Online with the best acceleration in the entire game on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. The only things that can outperform this thing are rocket cars or HSW vehicles. So this thing dominates on the drag strip, at least over a short distance, because it does have a little bit of a weaker top speed of under 120 miles per hour. But regardless of that, it's so damn good. It's also electric, of course, like I said, so that means it can take 12 RPGs or 12 homing missiles as well. It does have that armor plating upgrade as well as the oil slick proximity mine dropper. So this thing just absolutely dominates. It's really hard to argue against the Ocelot Virtue as being the #1 Imani Tech vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online. No matter what platform you play on, you can get it for free, and it is just insane. Overall, definitely deserving of the #1 spot. To be completely honest, I'm getting sick of glazing the Ocelot Virtue so hard, so Rockstar really needs to step their game up and release us a new car that can outcompete the Virtue, because I'm kind of getting sick of talking about this thing. It's so damn good though, and I'm not gonna lie, it just deserves #1. It's not even really close, to be completely honest. The Stinger TT it's realistically a couple slots away. I should have left 2 and 3 open just as nothing and just had this list be 22 vehicles, to be completely honest, and just left 2 slots empty. The Virtue is just that good. Anyway guys, there you have it. That has been it for my ranking of every Imani Tech vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online. If you guys enjoyed this video, a like is of course appreciated. If not, dislike. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. Comment a 7 if you made it to the end of the video down below in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care. Peace.